welcome everybody. I'm Max Ball, and today Joanna Palmer and I are here for our Heart of CX podcast. And Joanna, you came to me today with a story you're so excited about that you even have some slides to walk through to tell it. Is that big of a deal to you and that important? Tell me a little bit about what you've got here on your mind.
Yeah. Thanks, Max. I have been in the middle of a home remodeling project, like many of us during COVID. I think
Right,
that this is
right.
one of those trends, right? So we are adding on to our house, and I've had quite the experience with a ceiling fan purchase. So I was very passionate about this, and I think that this is therapeutic to go through this
Walk through
today.
it. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So we had your airline experience 20 years ago. This one sounds a little fresher, though.
Yes, this is very fresh. So let me go ahead and share
Okay.
the presentation with you.
Wow, this I feel so honored to actually have something visual to go through.
Now, don't expect this every time, Max.
I won't. And don't expect it every time for me, if ever. Oh, is this the add-on? That looks nice.
Yeah. Ignore all of the construction stuff in the background, but this is the add-on. So Wednesday was electrical day here,
Mhm.
construction wise, and as you can see, it's very nicely lit. And then there's a missing fan in the middle of the room. So today we're going to talk about that fan, and hopefully we will get that fan very soon.
Uh-oh.
So the the journey starts by taking a look and comparing fans online. I went to the store. I'm kind of fussy, couldn't find anything at the store, and so decided to look online for a ceiling fan.
Sound like my wife when she's gonna get something. There's a lot of research that goes into it.
Ton of research, right? And then analysis paralysis until you really
Mhm.
figure out what you want.
Yeah, where the deadline comes and you have to pick.
Yes, and I am a just-in-time buyer. So
Okay.
as I had as I had mentioned, Wednesday was electrical day. Well, I'm purchasing this fan for delivery on Wednesday. So it is very tight. And I knew that, our delivery window here at the house is between 10 and noon. So the fan could be installed that afternoon. So, starting the journey, comparing two fans that look pretty much very similar. One was
Mhm.
from a big box home improvement store, one was from an online retailer. Both were going to be delivered Wednesday. And really, it came down to price $30 less expensive. I'm a bargain hunter. I'm like, good deal. Let's buy it. I'm feeling like a rock star.
Da-da-da.
And so, fast forward a couple days, it's Wednesday, the ceiling fan will be delivered. I'm feeling pretty hopeful at this point and excited,
Yeah, you look very happy there. Uh-oh.
right? Very happy. And then where's the ceiling fan? Looking out my window to the empty driveway. And then I ended up checking my email. And about midday, an email arrives for me that lets me know that the delivery is running late and that they tend to arrive in 5 business days. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty frustrated tracking the delivery. The delivery is not running late. The ceiling fan hasn't even shipped yet.
Right, right. So you got flexibility for maybe 5 business hours, but not 5 business days by any stretch.
Right. Right. So hasn't shipped yet. Let me reach out to customer service. This point, it's going to take at least a couple of days to get here. I'm going to have to go with plan B, I feel like. So I reach out to customer service and it's great. They have all sorts of different channels I can interact with them on. One being Apple Business Chat. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh, I'm excited. Not very many companies that I interact with have Apple Business Chat or SMS at all. In fact, most of the companies that I've interacted with uh, via chat or messaging have not been Apple Business Chat. So I'm loving this. I love seeing the dot 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 when the agent's typing. I start with a chat bot and then move over to a live agent. Loving that channel. So feeling pretty good. That feeling pretty good changes pretty quickly. So when I'm asking the agent about the order, they let me know that what they can do is open up an ETA case for me to really find out when this fan will be here. It'll take 24 to 48 hours for them to get back to me to just let me know when to expect the fan.
Mm, mm.
At which point,
Right. So so it's 24 to 48 hours is your date to get a date.
my date to get a date in the year 2021.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it okay. So doesn't matter if you're hearing that through Apple Business Chat or they're mailing you a letter. That's just awful news. You're broken now. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And I'm scratching my head how in the year 2021 I can't even know when to expect that for another 24 to 48 hours. And the year in the age of everything being digital, how can that happen? How can this be that far delayed? And
And
so I'm
and
sure
that,
they're
and that unknown. I mean,
right,
that's the biggest part.
right. And I'm sure at that point there were a slur of cuss words coming out of my mouth. So I let the agent know about my frustration. And of course, the agent shows that they're empathetic, understanding that I'm frustrated, and offers an option to go ahead and continue proceeding with opening that ETA case or canceling my order and issuing a refund. So I'm like, go ahead, cancel my order. I'll go to the online store. I'm good.
Right. Why not?
Exactly. And so the agent
It's not a horrible outcome. It's not great, but it's not horrible.
it's not horrible. I'm at the end of this, I get the refund. I have a path forward. We're getting a ceiling fan. I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling satisfied that there is a solution.
Right.
So
Right.
I walk away from that contact, fill out the in-app survey afterwards, feeling pretty good about my experience with that agent, that I have first contact resolution, and that I'm going to get that refund in 5 to 7 days. Now, I'm not going to tell a friend to go to that store and do business, but I'm feeling all right with the
Right.
outcome.
Right. You're not going to throw an egg every time you drive by the store.
Exactly. So next day comes and I get an email
Uh,
and I'm told that my order shipped. And because of that, they're unable to cancel my order. And they are so sorry for the inconvenience, but I will be able to return it once I receive it. Now, the closest store to me is 45 minutes from my house.
uh,
And so at that point, I'm feeling very, very frustrated. Just yesterday, I thought that this had been resolved. And so emotion hit, I hit reply, and I start typing out my response and letting
right.
them know how disappointed.
Let yeah. You're going to give it to them with both barrels at this point.
I'm disappointed, and I want them to know
Yeah.
I'm disappointed, that I was expecting a refund in 5 to 7 days, that this was poor customer experience, and that I'll likely choose other companies to do business with in the future. And I'm getting ready to hit send. I had the screenshot of the chat where where the agent had set the expectation that I would get the refund. And as I'm getting ready to hit send, I notice that this came from a do not reply email address. At which point, my mind is blown. Again, 2021, and you're sending bad news to a customer with a do not reply email address.
Right.
How
And,
can that
and
be?
and no links or phone numbers or anything. I mean, that would be lame, but at least that would be an answer.
Right. Now, I do believe that there was on the bottom footer potentially ways to contact the company. But the point is, let me stay in the channel
Yeah. Yeah.
that you reached out to me on. So yeah, this was mind blowing at this point,
Yeah.
and just icing on the cake, to say the least. So let's talk about a summary of the customer journey. I think that this is important because the company had all sorts of channels for me to
Right,
interact with
right.
them on. But there was so much friction in this journey. I started out feeling like a rock star. I had saved money. I was feeling
Woo-hoo.
hopeful. Yeah, exactly. Whoop, whoop. Feeling hopeful on delivery day that I would get that fan and it would be installed, only to be frustrated by the email that, hey, there's shipping delays.
Right, right.
Loving the Apple business chat, but frustrated by the friction of not being able to even know when my order would be estimated to arrive for another 24 to 48 hours to just get the estimation.
Yeah, because the contractor's there and probably, okay, it's going to be a week. That's one thing, but to not even be able to schedule something with the contractor to come back out, ugh.
Right, right. And then, of course, feeling content that there was a solution and a resolution that we were going to refund the money. I had ordered the fan from the online retailer, and there was a path forward. And then a day later, to be told that, hey, we can't cancel that shipment, it's on its way, you can return it when you get it. And then my mind being blown that I couldn't reply to that email, that
Yeah,
it came
yeah,
from
yeah.
do not
Here's the awful
reply.
news. Ha, ha, we don't care. Talk to the hand.
Exactly. Exactly. So I thought that this was good to go through, Max, just to talk about
No, this is
customer journeys and what could go differently. I'm going to stop sharing so we can just talk about this.
Yeah, this is rich. I mean, what strikes me, and you made this point a couple of times, is it's not for lack of technology, or it may be, but
Mhm.
it's not for lack of customer communications technologies. You got Criminy, you got Apple Business Chat. How many people provide that as a channel? That's very cool. That's very avant-garde, whatever.
Yes.
But and where there may be a technology breakdown is all the data systems in the back end.
Right. And we
Prac-
do see that. We do see that as somebody who used to be that customer, to be that person that ran the technology. Some of those back end systems are so antiquated. And that's
Right.
what I suspect happened here, that their distributors warehouse systems are not integrated with the store's order management systems. And so they can only do so much with that customer experience. That said, you're only as good as your weakest link.
Yeah.
what,
I,
what was that?
there's no, that said, there's no excuse. It's still,
Yeah.
you ended up with an up and down roller coaster that unfortunately at the end you just kind of fell off the cliff with. Just a bad experience. And this is something, if you take customer experiences and you break them down, I see over and over, I always talk about silos in the contact center. But when I do
Mhm.
it, I tend to be thinking about the guys who do the digital stuff versus the guys who do the voice stuff versus the guys who do guys in the gender neutral sense of the term versus
Right.
people who are doing outbound calling. And in this case, it's probably not silos within the contact center at all. It's silos between the fulfillment people and the inventory people and things like that, and the inability to get all that information synchronized so that you can get, you can give a halfway decent customer experience.
Exactly. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. Contact center and customer experience. When you take a look at the two, your contact center can't stand alone. It's got to be integrated. And really, as you take a look at the customer experience overall, it's what business systems all mesh together to provide you that 360-degree view. And it's not just the CRM and the contact center. You also have to look at your back end systems in terms of your warehouse management system, your ERP, your online ordering system. How do those all meld together to provide you the entire customer journey so that you can adequately predict and proactively communicate with your customer?
And the big box guys of all the people that should have that stuff figured out. I mean, maybe Amazon is a better, we would expect to have a better approach to that. But boy, if they should have, if it's a mom and pop chain, I could see where the warehousing and end to end stuff, that's kind of a different story. But assuming this is one of these big companies, they've got to, how many millions of dollars have they invested in all of that? To have it be that broken is really not a happy thing.
Right. Right. And I go back to a Steve Jobs quote when I think about this. And it's really, you've got to start with the customer experience and work back to the technology, not the other way around. And as I think
Right.
about this experience in particular, this was all about technology. They had all of the technology there. The technology was cool, it was slick, it was awesome, but the customer experience was broken. And at the end of the day, you're still going to lose the customers if that experience is
Right.
broken.
Right. Yeah. Giving me awful. It doesn't matter what channel you give me awful news on. You're still giving me awful news.
Right. Right. And I'm okay with awful news if there's a way we can work through it. I don't expect perfection. You don't expect perfection.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
Stuff happens. Stuff hits the fan.
right. Right. Can we make that the title of this podcast?
I think
When
we
we
should.
hit the
We
fan? I mean, on that note, Max, I don't think that there's any further we can go today.
Nothing else we got. That was great. Well, I was going to say what a great story, but what's about powerful story? It's not a good story. It's I guess in the end you'll get one way or the other you'll get your fan. So that's good, but very illustrative and interesting story. How's that?
There we go. We'll leave it at that.
Okay,
well, thanks, Max.
great.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has. Great story. Thanks for bringing that. And I enjoyed your emojis most of all.
Great. Great. Until next week. Thanks everybody for joining.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye-bye.